Hey guys, Icewind here. Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be talking a little bit about what you should do if you feel a bit stuck, or you feel like you just can't progress, or you're not quite sure what to do next and you're kind of lost for direction. Now, if you look at a post like this, a lot of people seems to be complaining about the difficulty spike that comes up at each interval, like level 40, level 45, 50, each 5 levels there seems to be a huge spike in difficulty. Okay, that's because the game expects us players to be keeping up with all the content that it offers. So how do we actually keep up with this content? Well, let's find out, shall we? As for me, when I'm playing this game, I never in one point I felt I was lost for direction and I was stuck on something, because I always knew what to do in order to progress. Sure, I might have been stuck for 1 or 2 days, but after that, it was pretty straightforward from there. And yeah, sometimes you just have to be patient and wait for your levels or your equipment to raise and all that. So without further ado, here's a guide for your players, and I really hope it helps you in the end, as it would help me getting my thoughts out of the way. The first thing you have to do is invest in your PvE. So don't think about PvP if you can help it, right? So before you can beat people, you have to really beat Adventure, right? Because most of how you progress is in the time rift and all that. And one of the best things you could do is work on single damage heroes, because in PvE there's not many missions where you get a chance to use AoE. Like there is maybe half the time, but single damage is way more common and needed. So I really suggest you go with that. Now the next thing, invest in a high mobility carry. So what do I mean by that? So you see Cherie is considered high mobility and she can do amazing damage. Her attack is at S. And it means that you should invest heavily on her attack. Okay? Focus on your carry. It's just like in other MOBAs or RPGs, like League of Legends, that kind of thing. You have to focus on the carries, right, in order to win the game. So she's considered a carry, especially because she's high mobility, and your other characters aren't as important. So look at her power and look at my other ones. I don't really work on them as much as Cherie. So Leon's also a very high mobility carry, S rank for the attack. So definitely work on him. But if you want to go free to play, you can use Die Hard as a high mobility carry, make him a horse, or Matthew. Just like in the MOBAs, the supports aren't as important unless they're a damage dealer. So you see, like I worked a little bit more on my Almeda than my support, because the support, it's not going to be doing damage, it's going to be healing. So damage is more important than healing. And so I would rank tank second important, alright? So your damage dealers are the most important. Invest in them the first thing possible. And then the next thing is the tank. So without a tank, you can't really soak up too much damage. So invest in your tank second. And thirdly, I would really suggest invest on the healers. So actually in this game you only need 3 kind of units, alright? You need DPS, you need a tank and healer. That's all you need, 3 different kind of units. Okay, just so that's PvE, keep in mind, right? And of course you need a faction buff. So you need buffs. If you have buffs and your opponent doesn't, that gives you a huge advantage. And if a level is really hard, then I suggest you to bring debuffers like Almeda. So what she can do is take their defense down, take their attack down if it's getting too hard. And that gives you a much better fighting chance if you didn't have a debuffer. So either Bozil or Almeda, they do the job. Bozil's really good when he does the earthquake, by the way. So it gives you attack and defense down. So that's an amazing all-in-one debuff. So the next thing we're going to talk about is gears. Okay, so it takes a crap load of gold to get the weapon up, to get all these armors up. It takes a lot of gold, alright? And you need a lot of orbs. So if you have an SSR weapon on your carry, try to get it to level 50 as soon as possible, alright? For your high mobility carry, you should only have 1 or 2, so you can invest in 1 or 2 maximum high mobility carries, right? So just focus on 1 if you can, okay? And if you can focus on 1, then get that carry to level 50 weapon as soon as you can, and get a good accessory on her as well with attack on it, SSR accessory with attack, and get this one to level 50 as well. So with Cherie, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because what she can do is she can sweep 1 unit, and then after that she can sweep another unit. That makes it excellent for PvE, which is exactly the reason why I gave it 10 out of 10 for PvE. Exactly that reason, okay? And she can also hold her own in PvP, of course. So I'm in the process of getting this one to level 50. Save up all your Oricono, or I don't know how to say that. So those ores that you get, see these ores, Orichalcum, Orichalcum, whatever, man. Orichalcum ores, alright? You save these up, and then you get this epic martial spirit, okay? So this is what you're gonna do, and if it's a weapon or something that you really like and you don't have duplicates of, get the other one as well for the cheaper SR equipment ones. See, I really like this equipment, so for Chris it's perfect, you know? Damage increases by 6% when dealing single target skills. I really like this one, and I really like this one. Look at this Warlock's Hood. After taking action, 25% chance to decrease M defense of one enemy in 3 blocks by 30%. That's huge, and that's going to increase, I believe. So definitely, if you like these and you don't have duplicates of them, spend that ore to get the orb, which is going to upgrade them, okay? And I know that it ends up being a crap shitload of gold, okay? How do you get that gold? Well, I'm not going to go over that in this video, but the most important thing you can do is any of these missions that pop up with gold in it for your events, do all of them. All of them. It's definitely worth a 10 stamina. And also in your secret realm, do this one. So you need an AoE for this one. And make sure you invest moderately on an AoE damage dealer or 2. Like I invested in Bozil and Egbert moderately, but not too much. Make sure you invest in those a little bit, because that's going to help you a lot in these gold dungeons. And you need to do these. It's giving me 200k a day just from that. For these ones, you need a teleport, and if you can, use Letitia. For those missions, Letitia really helps because she makes your movement up by a lot. She makes your movement up by 2 on your flyer. So use a flyer and use a teleport mage and use Letitia. So that's the quickest way without using, you know, too many tricks. You can use 2 teleport, like, you know, if you want to use tricks, but yeah, if you don't want to challenge yourself, then just do Letitia, 1 teleport and a flyer, okay? Now moving on, we have the enchantments. Make sure that you experiment with your enchantments to know which one's the best, and if you don't want to experiment, well, look at my reviews for more details of what you should do for your enchantments as an example. And make sure, if you can, try to roll for your main stat. You know, I want to go for attack, so which is why I rolled for that, but in this one I got HP 8% and I kept it, okay? So you can get like really good stats like attack 11%, but they're rare. So if you end up getting something like this, then I suggest keeping it. And for your armors, you're not going to get too much attack, so it's okay to just enchant for defensive stats as you see fit. And this one I can of course go for attack, but these percentages pretty high right now, so choosing to keep it for now. And if you run out of enchantments, you can always go buy them from the store. And there's a limit of 10 per week and they cost 200 each. Now we're going to talk about Enki training a bit. This is training that you should not neglect, okay? Especially if you're going to get a really good troop. For example, I'm going to show you a basic example. See, this one you need a SSR material to unlock. So I think when your player level is around level 30 to level 40 is the time that you should focus most on training. Once you can beat the level 45 stages, you can get an SSR book that's going to unlock the 3rd tier troop. And these 3rd tier troops are amazing. Okay, most of them are amazing. Say for example, if you look at this one, okay, I have this one for Chris, and it's perfect for Chris because you look at what these can do. Now you see it's at level 2 right now, and we have all stats plus 4%. And when a soldier's HP is above 80%, for every equipped buff, soldier's attack, defense, magic defense increases by 6%, up to 18%. Now when I just faction buff, already I can get maximum. You can get amazing troops, amazing, just by unlocking. So make sure guys, don't neglect your training and focus on getting these unlocked as soon as possible. Now once you get these unlocked, you want to focus on leveling them as well, so make sure to keep going as well. Don't fall back on your training. Try to get these as high as possible, because if you're even competitive, or if you want to stay trying to get through these stages, then really don't, neglect your training at all, okay? Alright, now the next thing I'm going to talk about is bonds. So I'm sure you guys know how to do this. Just gift, and then when you gifted, then you can raise these up. So I mean, this is not rocket science, so I shouldn't need to explain this, but you can also definitely don't forget about this, and don't forget about using the gates of fate every day. Make sure to use all your chances up. Make sure this is 0 every day, okay? Every day I want you to go in here and complete all these ones that give the shards. See, don't complete these ones, it's not worth it. Do the ones that give shards on the heroes, especially your carries that you need to advance. And for Chris, I'm focusing on her as well right now to increase her star, because it's really important on her, because she gets extra range, so it becomes 2 blocks. As well as Liana, it's really important to get her to 4 stars from the bonds, okay? Right, so that was it for the detailed breakdown, and here's a quick recap before I end the video. So first off, you want to invest in PvE first. Don't go into PvP thinking you're going to beat everyone, you're the boss, whatever, because that's not going to work. So focus on PvE, and what you need in PvE is mostly just carries, tank and healer, and debuffers. And if you have range, that's good for trading damage well, so definitely go ahead and do that if you want, but that's optional. And what you want to do is you invest in a high mobility carry and prioritize accordingly to those needs. And of course, worry about debuffs and buffs, because that's going to get you through to even the most difficult missions. Alright, so for carries also, you might need 2, just because in some missions your carries might be stranded in a position or something like that. Like it might be a 2-pronged attack, or the positions might not favor just going in with 1 death ball, sort of grouped up team, so which means you might need 2, but most of the time just 1 is enough. And focus on your gears. Alright, that's super important, one of the most important things you can do. But to get your gears up to scratch, obviously you need to do the dragons to get those hammers as well. And for the dragons, you need to really study those weaknesses and their strengths. So I'm going to be doing like a dragon's guide later probably, but for now I'm just going to keep it short. So what you can do is look at their abilities, look at, are they physical damage, are they magic damage, are they weak to range, or are they weak to melee? Some of them are weak to melee, some of them are weak to range. And what kind of units are they actually weak to? There's actually some units that they're weak to if you look at the tooltips for that. And especially the one that's really overpowered is the Thunder Dragon. So for Thunder Dragon, I definitely suggest you bring debuffer. Use a debuffer like Almeda. So that's gonna keep the buffs on the dragon down, and it's gonna keep yours up. But to be honest, that one you need at least 3 levels above it to be able to beat it usually. And for number 6, it's either get rich or die trying. So make sure you get your gold every chance possible. Do the events and do all the gold dungeons. Don't let them, don't let the keys pile up. And also try to experiment, try to see which enchantment works the best on your heroes, and roll for those high percentage stats that you need. The main stats, okay? And keep getting muscles in the gym, because you're gonna need those. Like sometimes even worth it to spend a day's worth of stamina just in the gym alone. That's how good it is. And don't forget to show your waifu and husbanders some love. And that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you do all these things, and this video has made your progression easier and faster and better and more efficient. And stay tuned if you want to see more content like this. Peace out, guys.